Coming to you live on this Sunnyside Summer Thursday, this is the CHGO White Sox Podcast. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. I'm Sean Anderson, the host of the CHGO White Sox Podcast. Along with me, the full CHGO White Sox crew. Was that an early arm wave?
No, it was just a pat.
Okay, all right.
It was like, we're here.
I didn't know if it was an early wave.
No. I wave with my right hand, typically.
Okay.
So if you see the left hand moving, that's different.
That's Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. You can read his work at allchgo.com. He wrote on Monday for our diehards in his White Sox weekly newsletter about some Noah Schultz stuff, some Brian Bannister stuff. We're going to dig that up on this podcast today. The man in the middle, Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
Our CHGO White Sox community leader. You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox. We're being produced today by our pal Sarah.
Hi.
Hello. And Luke said he picked up Leinenkugel Oktoberfest on the way home. So it is.
Ooh.
'Tis the season.
I love a good Marzen. Herb, do you like a Marzen?
I don't know what that is, but is that what the Oktoberfest
That's the
are?
style of beer that is Oktoberfest. Often you'll just see every brewery just calls it Oktoberfest, but that style is Marzen. It's very good. Very good beer.
I do like Oktoberfest, so yes, I love Marzen.
As two beer drinkers, how does that differentiate between a regular lager?
It's maltier.
Okay.
It's a little thicker, a little maltier. It's good for the fall. Fills you up.
There you go. So if you're looking for something, go pick up Leinenkugel Oktoberfest. Hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate Luke hanging out with us. Hit that subscribe button as well. We are getting closer to the start of the NFL season. Week 1 will be the kickoff of the Chicago Bears season. We got you covered with a ton of post-game stuff from CHGO Bears. We got a ton of pregame stuff. We also have the tailgate that's happening pregame as well.
All of that is on Sunday.
Sunday. The official CHGO tailgate will be hanging out. So go check out allchgo.com/events for that. You could also sign up to become a diehard today. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Bryan Ramos' addition to the Major League roster after Brooks Baldwin was placed on the IL. We'll talk some minor league stuff. Who doesn't love hearing about Coulson Montgomery? Who doesn't love hearing about Noah Schultz? The White Sox need a future. They hopefully will be a part of it. And
they're going to get a future. Whether or not it's good, we're going to find out.
That's true. I mean, they'll get a chance to play. It might be horrendous. And we'll also quiz Vinny and Herb. So I don't think you knew that this was coming.
You couldn't study.
Mm-hmm. You could have, but I think it would have been like unethical of you.
Correct.
Yeah, you would have been cheating. So let's talk about Bryan Ramos. He is back on the Major League roster. He had a very interesting up and down. Since he's been a part of the 40-man, he's had a couple of call-ups. Some a little fake, some where he's been added to the Major League roster and not actually played any games and then sent down the next day. But this seems like this will be his first true shot at Major League play since April, since he was last on the team. I picture him in Tropicana Field for some reason. I don't know why.
He played in those games.
He played in Tropicana Field once, and that's my memories of Bryan Ramos.
That was when the White Sox were hot.
Yeah.
Remember? They won that series in St. Louis.
That was like their 11-11 stretch.
The only road series they've won all year.
Wow.
That's a sweep, too. Was that the sweep?
No. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. That was
Louis.
the John Brebbia rain delay game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they swept the Rays, right?
They swept the Rays at home.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Will this be true playing time for Bryan Ramos? Will he get playing time in Boston this weekend? Is it Miguel Vargas' spot at third base and Bryan Ramos is here to fit in?
My thought is it depends on how Miguel Vargas' face is feeling after he got elbowed the other night by Andrew Benintendi, unintentionally, obviously. But I think that you saw him out of the game, out of the lineup last night when they finished up that series in Baltimore. An off day is going to help, right? So you get a day off out of the lineup. Then the team gets a day off. Miguel Vargas might be good to go by tomorrow by the time they start that series with the Red Sox. But if he isn't, there's Bryan Ramos to step in and take some playing time. Now, the thing about Bryan Ramos compared to some of the other guys on the team is they've invested in him, right? I mean, maybe not financially as much as some of the others, but they've invested in him time-wise, development-wise. He, more so than the others, could be described as a part of their future. Certainly Vargas fits into that category as well. They make a trading Eric Fetty for him, so he's in that category too. But I think Bryan Ramos is not being relegated to, you're here in case somebody gets hurt. That's the future for you. I think they hope that he can be something moving forward. And to bring him up here to just sit around for an extended period of time doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Remember, Miguel Vargas does have some versatility. Yes, Grady Sizemore prefers to see him at third base, wants to give him consistency at third base, but maybe they find a way where Miguel Vargas is either DHing or playing in a corner outfield spot one day. Maybe they move him over to second one day. Remember, Brooks Baldwin's not here to soak up that playing time on the infield, so there's a spot available. I don't think we're going to see Bryan Ramos anywhere but third base. But when Bryan Ramos came up the last time, which you described as fake, which is kind of funny, Grady Sizemore was asked about that, and he described them both as third basemen. So we'll see if there is a playing time share or a playing time crunch or anything like that. But I would think that if the plan is for Bryan Ramos to be here the entirety of the time that Brooks Baldwin is out, he's going to get a couple of starts at the very least. I think the main reason he's here is because he's on the 40-man roster. But if we were, for example, to see Jake Amaya get playing time over Bryan Ramos or over Miguel Vargas, that would seem kind of weird to me. So I would think that Bryan Ramos would be, if you were going to make a depth chart, he might not be ahead of Miguel Vargas, but he's got to be ahead of one or two of the other infielders they got.
And just like Vinny says, he plays only third base for the most part. So he'll have to get that time there. And I would, if I were Grady and the White Sox, I'm putting all the chips not in Bryan Ramos. I'm putting them more in Miguel Vargas and him playing at third base. Yeah, it sucks that Bryan Ramos will come up here for majority of this month and not play. But if I'm looking at the two players, at Miguel Vargas and Bryan Ramos, and I know Ramos is only 22, I'm looking more at Vargas and saying, that's more of the guy that we need to be giving playing time to, because he's actually had success in the minor leagues, been a highly touted prospect, and still only a young player. And so if he is fine and playing this week, I'm giving 2 of those 3 starts to Miguel Vargas over Bryan Ramos and not necessarily worrying about his playing time in September.
How old do you think Bryan Ramos is?
He's only 22.
He's 2 years younger than Miguel Vargas.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You're talking like Miguel Vargas is, younger than him.
No, he's older, but I'm saying he's got more upside to me than what Bryan Ramos is. I don't think Bryan Ramos has as much upside as Miguel Vargas. And for the White Sox, they definitely think that Miguel Vargas, they traded for him, is probably more of an upside pick than what Bryan Ramos is.
Real quick, to address the chat, William Mosley asking if Nicky Lopez has been DFA'd. He was placed on irrevocable waivers and has not been
irrevocable.
That word.
Yes.
It looks like irrevocable.
It does look like that.
Okay, all right. I thought it was without being revoked. I thought that was irrevocable. I thought that was the word, but it's not. Placed on waivers, has not been claimed, still a White Sox. So if he's claimed by a team, he'll be moving. They cannot take back that claim.
I think that's over.
I think it's over.
Probably over.
September,
there you go.
Yeah.
Nicky Lopez is a White Sox, and he hit a home run to celebrate.
Just kind of like Tommy Pham and Robbie Grossman were both claimed by the Kansas City Royals. They're placed on the same waivers as Nicky Lopez.
White Sox legends,
Tommy
Pham and Robbie Grossman. Before we get into Vargas and Ramos, you brought up something. You brought up Jake Amaya. This kind of dawned on me when you said this. Is Jake Amaya their starting shortstop for the rest of the year? Brooks Baldwin is out on the IL. I don't know if they trust Lenny Sosa at shortstop.
I mean, Brooks Baldwin could come back. It's just a 10-day IL, so there's more than 10 days left in the season. So I don't know if I'd go as far to say the rest of the year. But, I guess. I mean, Nicky Lopez could be their starting shortstop, depending on what they – I think that's probably how it looks, right? You got Lopez at short, Sosa at second, and then Vargas at third. But we don't know how Vargas is feeling at the moment.
And then to you, Herb, like if Vargas gets 2 to 3 starts at third in Boston, I don't really care. As long as Ramos is the DH. Let Ramos DH for the rest of every single game for the rest of the year. Who is he taking at bats away from?
I mean, Sheets.
Come on.
I'm just answering your question.
No, I know. And I'm like, give me a serious answer. Like, who is he actually taking away at-bats from and plate appearances from? We don't need to see more of Gavin Sheets.
Would you rather see Gavin Sheets in the monster facing a righty or Bryan Ramos?
Okay. Bryan Ramos. Okay. I don't need to see Gavin Sheets. What do you need to see Gavin Sheets do? Gavin Sheets is going to be a phenomenal physical laborer. Whether it's construction, maybe he'll own his own construction
He's going to be
company.
on a major league team next year.
He will be out of the league by 30.
He might be on the White Sox next year.
I don't think so.
Oh, why not? Yeah, yes. In a perfect world, yeah.
You're gonna
a person like Gavin Sheets should not be on this team, on a good team. But the White Sox are going to be a bad team.
I'd like somebody to play the outfield who can actually play the outfield. Go get me an outfielder so that Dominic Fletcher, when Luis Robert eventually gets hurt because you won't be able to trade him, when Fletcher has to move to center field, get me somebody that can actually play right field.
I don't think Gavin Sheets is going to be on the team next year to play right field. He's going to be the first baseman or the designated hitter.
We don't need no. We don't need but here's the thing. Like, what if Bryan Ramos, who's been very good at AAA, Sarah, if you want to flash the graphic I made about Bryan Ramos's last 62 games since around May, he's been pretty good. The numbers were around like 240, I think around 325, and then a slugging around 449. But his last 30 games, 134 plate appearances, 292 batting average, 504 slugging, and the K to walk rate, 25 strikeouts to 16 walks. Like, he's been very, very good. He's 23 years old. Give him as many plate appearances as you want. If Bryan Ramos doesn't have a home at third because you believe in Miguel Vargas, I would rather see Bryan Ramos be the designated hitter for the 2025 team than Gavin Sheets, because there's a lot likely of a chance that Bryan Ramos is helping you in 2027 than Gavin Sheets is.
That is absolutely true.
I am fine if Tim Elko is on the team over Gavin Sheets at first base, and you have two righties at first base in Vaughn and Elko. Like, I don't know what else we need to see from 28-year-old Gavin Sheets. I'm uninterested. We have seen what Gavin Sheets can do for the White Sox, and it's not much. Let's start the youth movement now. I would like to see Ramos play third, second, left field, DH. I don't care.
Second.
He's played second.
I know, but
he's not going to play second.
No, exactly. I know, but and I know that we have an issue with moving guys around.
Yes.
Sheets and Vaughn are part of that as well. But the Dodgers weren't afraid to move Vargas around, and somehow they've given him a home at third base, even though he's not that good at third base. Like, I wonder if Vargas's upside is being able to float around. Hey, maybe he could play third, second, or third base. They really made him a third baseman.
And a new manager might have a different opinion than Grady Sizemore has, right? I mean, I think probably the biggest difference in managerial philosophy that we've heard from going from Pedro Grifol to going to Grady Sizemore was Pedro Grifol was going to play Miguel Vargas all over the field. Grady Sizemore wanted him to get consistency playing at one position. Certainly that wouldn't have been allowed if Chris Getz disagreed, so I'm sure it was given the okay. But maybe a new manager steps in next season and says, I do want to see Miguel Vargas all over the field, and Chris Getz says, all right, let's see what he's got.
And just 26 games for Vargas since the trade deadline. Fangraphs has him as a negative 1.4 defensive value. Bryan Ramos in his 15 games with the White Sox, negative 0.6 defensive value. So I do wonder, too, like, who is the better third baseman? Like, I think you need to see Bryan Ramos at a major league level. When we saw him in April, he wasn't that bad. He made some bad plays. He made some good plays. He seemed like a regular 22-year-old. He seems like he has a strong arm. He might be a better third baseman than Vargas.
He might be. But to get back to your Gavin Sheets thing, I think you're wish casting. You're throwing it out like you don't want him on the team. I'm being realistic. He's got like 2 or 3 more years left on his White Sox contract. So
bye-bye.
Yeah, it would be ideal if they would upgrade from that position. But what's the use? Why would they?
I mean, they could non-tender him and save a couple $100,000 by giving that job to Tim Elko instead. And if they really feel that way, that's fine. But yeah. Gavin Sheets is not a guy who's going to be eating up a lot of your payroll.
Right, but yeah. I mean, even with Vargas, we've heard Vargas can play possibly first base. Bryan Ramos is a big-ass dude. He could possibly play first base. Bryan Ramos should spend all of his offseason learning how to play first base, because if they're just looking for a second guy to play first base when Vaughn needs the day off, like, why does it have to be Gavin Sheets? I don't know what we need to see more from Gavin Sheets. In the last 3 years, 12,009 plate appearances. He has an OPS plus of 87.
12,000?
1,200.
1,209. My bad.
That's fine.
231 slash line, 295 on base, and a 372 slugging. The man is huge, and he has never shown his power. I don't need to see him anymore. You could give me Tim Elko. You can give me Miguel Vargas. Hey, pick up Yohan Moncada's option and put him at first base. I don't care. I don't need to see. You're the one talking about Gavin Sheets. Go give me Lyle Overbay.
No.
Go give me Adam Lind. I do not care who's at first base as long as it's not Gavin Sheets.
And if I see
both Andrew Vaughn and Gavin Sheets at first base in 2025, I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll pull a Dave Matthews and ruin our drinking water.
Remember Lyle Overbay?
I do. I'm just setting you up so you don't be crestfallen when we're breaking camp next March and it's Andrew Vaughn and Gavin Sheets.
Herb, we all know that everything that I say out into this ether is not heard by the White Sox. So I could say whatever I want here and express my feelings.
Your heart.
I know that I will be ignored.
Yeah, I know your heart. You're like, oh man, it makes no sense for them to have Sheets, and I kind of agree with you. He's pretty much aged out. He doesn't really do anything. You've seen what you see out of Gavin Sheets. I guarantee, more likely than not, he's coming back.
I heard a little rumor that Adam Eaton's coming back in 2025 So there you go.
The pitcher?
The right fielder.
Bad right fielder?
Cesar Hernandez, I think, is going to come back. I mean, they're going to get the whole gang back together. We're going to take a break. We're going to let you know I need a break from Gavin Sheets talk. How did the Bryan Ramos segment turn into Gavin Sheets talk? We want to let you know about our friends over at Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they have copycats, but Empire cannot be beaten on their quality, service, and speed. So competitors advertise low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. Empire's philosophy is to help you find what you need and not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. What they leave out of their selection is just as important as what they put in. Their product team exhaustively combs through thousands of product samples each year to find the perfect styles for your home, and you could check those out with their virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. Just snap a picture of your room and instantly see how new floors will look in that room. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/CHGO for details.
Let me tell you, if there's a surefire way to wake up feeling fresh after a night of drinking, it's with Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. Pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by a PhD scientist to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that is to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break down this byproduct. Just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and then you'll feel your best tomorrow. From vacations to weddings to birthdays and reunions, there's so much going on. Get the most out of your summer plans by stocking up on pre-alcohol now. Go to zbiotics.com/CHGO Socks to get 15% off your first order when you use code CHGO SOX at checkout. Pre-alcohol is back with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund you your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/CHGO Socks and use the code CHGO SOX at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, Z-Biotics, for sponsoring this episode and our good times.
And thank you, Herb. I do want to apologize for just getting so heated there about Gavin Sheets. And I think part of it, too, is I got fooled. The Who, Roger Daltrey, Pete Townshend, etc., Keith Moon, if you want. I don't know the bassist.
John Entwistle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did know that.
Yeah,
but
you did.
I knew Entwistle is a very tough last name to forget. They said they weren't going to get fooled again. I got fooled again by Gavin Sheets. I was pretty dismissive, pretty rude, you'd say, this offseason by saying, if the White Sox traded Dylan Cease to Baltimore, Gavin's from Baltimore, Larry's there, it'd be nice if Gavin could just drive Dylan there and he could stay, right? We didn't need Gavin Sheets on the White Sox anymore. And then after April, I needed to put out an apology because he was the White Sox best hitter. 293 average, 385 on base, 488 slugging. It's a pretty good 23 games.
Yeah.
And then he's turned back into Gavin Sheets. So that's the point is I'm not going to get fooled again. I cannot re-apologize to Gavin Sheets. I cannot see it with him. And I don't know what it was, but it seems like pitchers have adapted to him since May, and it doesn't seem like there's a reason to keep him on the lineup. I would rather try any other lefty from any other different organization that's bounced around Major League Baseball outside of Gavin. And also shout out to Alejandro, who said he wouldn't be surprised if we saw Zach Remillard at first in 2025. I wouldn't either. You want to write the Lifetime movie. So
I mean, it's already over. So
continues.
We could stop the movie already. But I hear what you're saying about Gavin Sheets. I wholeheartedly agree. I'm just getting your heart ready for when it does happen. We're watching Gavin Sheets in 2025 for the White Sox.
Yeah, I guess. I do want to talk a little bit more about Ramos and Vargas. Is it important to find out which one can play third base with Coulson? We're going to talk about Coulson in a second. With Coulson possibly moving to third base, do you need to find out who is your third baseman of the future? Like, that's why I'm kind of feeling like Vargas should bounce around a little bit more to positions, because if he's not the third baseman, Ramos could be. And if Ramos isn't, Montgomery could be. Like, wouldn't flexibility, at least for Ramos and Vargas, help for the future? It seems like they're locked into third base right now. I don't know if that versatility, that flexibility, especially that Vargas showed in Los Angeles, not well, but he showed it. Like, could that be advantageous to the Sox?
Could be, but these guys are creatures of habit. And if you're just moving a person around, especially like Ramos, who doesn't do that hasn't done that in his professional career that much. Miguel Vargas a little bit more, so he's used to the switching gloves and changing the position that he plays. So if anybody's going to do that, I would have Miguel Vargas, because he's actually used to doing that, and he's produced while doing that. I think these guys are just creatures of habit. Just remember Yoan Moncada, his first time up here as the White Sox, he was struggling at the plate and the field, and he was playing second base. And I think that he thought in his mind, the mental block was, I'm a better third baseman, which he told them. And then he moved to third base, immediately started hitting in 2019. Now, that could not be causation or a correlation, but I also think that if you feel like you're inferior on the defensive side, you sometimes take that to the plate with you, and vice versa. So I want the guys to feel as comfortable as they can in the positions that they are at. And Coulson Montgomery is still a shortstop right now. And so I would be pushing Coulson Montgomery to try to be the best shortstop he can be in AAA. And if he eventually has to move to third base, smooth. We can just find other places for other players. But I wouldn't, trade or have these other guys train for other spots just in case for Coulson's eventual move to third base. I would keep the guys as comfortable as they can in the positions that they are in. And then if Coulson needs to change, worry about that when that happens.
Yeah, that's a cross this bridge when we come to it type situation there. And I think you're exactly right, Herb. I think that's probably how it would play out. Coulson Montgomery is going to come to the White Sox as a shortstop, and he is going to be given the opportunity to be a shortstop until he shows them that he can't do it. And that time, he hopes, never comes. But if it does, then they got to find themselves a shortstop. Then they got to worry about where to play Coulson if the bat is everything that it's supposed to be by the time he gets comfortable as a major leaguer. Right now, Sean, I get what you're saying, because if those are the two guys that are at the major league level, those are the guys you got to figure out where they're going to play, right? The idea shouldn't be that, oh, well, Bryan Ramos, your time is done here because Miguel Vargas might or might not be good. And if they're both ready to play Major League Baseball at the same time, then you got to find at-bats for those guys, and you got to find a place for them to play. It doesn't mean that you have to script the future this far out, because stuff's going to change. Heck, it might be that 3 years down the road, they're going to sign a free agent to play third base because these guys didn't work out. Montgomery was great at shortstop, or serviceable at shortstop, and so that's the way it's going to happen. But right now, you cannot predict any of that stuff. So you got to pick one of them to be your starting third baseman and figure out a place for the other one to play, because they can't get rusty. Now, also, if Brooks Baldwin didn't get injured, Bryan Ramos be playing at AAA, and we might not even be having this conversation until next April or next June or next August, depending on when Ramos was ready to reach the major leagues of his own accord, rather than just being on the 40-man and being used as a fill-in. So we'll see how it plays out the rest of the month, but I think more interesting is going to be this conversation come February and come March, when we hear from the White Sox and whoever is managing this team then about how he wants to divvy up the playing time.
And especially, too, the biggest thing about looking into the future, like I tried to put together a mock lineup, the biggest question is 88. Is he on the team? And what does that bring back? Like, are they able to possibly get players that are more interesting to fill out this roster that, hey, you get two guys to bounce around? But, like, my biggest thing is, like, shortstop obviously is going to be Coulson's spot. Not right away. Likely some Nicky Lopez, Brooks Baldwin situation at shortstop next year to start off the team. I know Victor Von Doom saying Coulson's starting next season regardless on how he performs next spring training. I doubt even if he lights up spring training, he'll start on the major league roster. We'll talk about it. But, like, the true skill positions, outside of catcher, because I believe in Caro and Lee, like shortstop, there's some question marks if Montgomery will stay there, and then center field doesn't seem like that guy's going to stay there. But like the non-true, like you can't put Vargas in left field because you screwed up and signed Benintendi for 5 years, right? And then like right field is more of a true skill position, and it seems like they're committed to Fletcher or Colas, whoever wants to win that job. It's tough.
Are they committed to Colas? I don't think you can say they're committed to Colas.
But like Vargas doesn't have the arm to play right field. I don't know if Ramos does. I don't know if Ramos has the athleticism. Like these guys really can't be moved. It doesn't seem like they have much versatility, which I guess is just really bottlenecking this all. I don't know. Victor Von Doom saying, "Hey, you can't bring up sign Matt Chapman." So
I mean, I
enjoys
think
162.
I think he can get out of this year. After this year,
No, they extended him yesterday.
Did they? Oh,
Yeah, they extended him last night. 160 or 150 million for Matt Chapman.
Jesus, I didn't see
So
that.
there you
My
go.
bad, Victor. Von
Yeah,
Doom.
take him out of your
I was about to go and sign him myself.
out of your offseason plan. This is also, I think, important just for Ramos's discussion. Sarah, can you flash? I think it's Coulson 3. Yeah, this is Coulson versus velocity, and we'll get back to this, and I'll explain more on Coulson. But Coulson's average exit velocity versus fastballs and pitches in AAA that are 94 miles per hour or better. His exit velocity 87.7 miles per hour, launch angle 22 degrees, distance 169
These are
feet.
not good.
No, they're not. And I'll compare him to a player and you'll throw up. But at least with Ramos, and I think Coulson's slash line's like 162, 286, 252.
Oof.
Like it's really bad against velocity. Ramos, 286, 375, slugging 400. So there is something there, expected weighted on base average of 316. I think there is something there with Ramos, and I would like to see like how much he's changed and developed. And with as little games as possible, I don't think that there's anything that should keep the White Sox from playing him. And I understand it maybe defensively, but if he's not playing third base, he should be DHing for the Sox because let's see what they have in these actual players. Let's move in to Coulson Montgomery. Coulson Montgomery hit his 15th home run today.
Monty.
Monty. Is that his nickname?
I don't know. He needs a nickname.
Yeah.
Monty's fine. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a Monty.
I mean, that's baseball league.
Yeah.
Hey, Monty, get over here.
Right.
Something like that.
Vaughny.
Yeah.
You're just making his name longer. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Monty's not bad. It's already there.
We'll workshop it.
Son.
15 homers now for Montgomery in AAA. I want to ask you guys this. Now that we are in September, was pushing Coulson Montgomery to AAA to start the season a mistake?
No.
Not at all. I mean, he had proven enough about AA where the promotion was warranted. And yes, he struggled this year, and that's to be expected. If he would have lit up AAA, he would have been a better prospect than we have thought. Like, I know that most of us thought maybe possibility he could have been called up this year, but that would have been a lot of doing if he did make it up to the major leagues. And yeah, he's facing people who are older, more skilled than him, and he's learning that league. And so I expect this year to be a learning year for him in AAA. And I think the failure is actually valuable for him. Fail down there so you can learn and then adjust back. And so next year when you go to AAA, you're 1 year better than that. And now you can hit the ground running with a better understanding of what pitchers are trying to do to you and what your skills are. And then if you are as good as we thought you should be, you can be called up to the major leagues sometime next year. So I think failure is good for these players. As Rick Hahn and a lot of people say, development's not linear. He's going to have dips, and all these players are going to have dips in their development where it looks like, oh, he was the 9th best prospect in the league, and now he's, 38th? I don't know where he's in the top 100. He's fallen off in the top 100, but I think that's kind of a blessing in disguise because he had shot up so quickly and so rapidly, and now a little humbling, and now he'll have to go to the offseason and see what I need to do to improve from where I was this year in AAA. A lot of strikeouts. That's the thing that's most troubling for me. A lot of strikeouts with not a lot of power behind it.
Preseason, he was 9th, and now he's fallen to 27th from MLB Pipeline after their update.
Yeah. I mean, listen, to answer your question, I don't think that it was a bad decision at all. I mean, the biggest concern that anyone had outside of the position, perhaps, with Coulson Montgomery was the fact that he hadn't played that many games relative to, some other people that maybe were even in his draft class or just other people at his level. but he had injury issues that he was dealing with early in his career. This is his first full season as a pro, really, from beginning to end, and it came at the AAA level, right? I mean, you can certainly argue that had he played the entirety of the minor league baseball season last year, remember he split it between 2 levels, high A and double A last year, that the numbers might not have been as good as they were. But this is a guy who had a 400 on-base percentage. I mean, he was showing a mastery of everything that he was asked to do offensively last year. Now he comes up to AAA. He's not showing that. And it's fine, but it doesn't necessarily make the decision from before to the wrong one, because they were going off of what they saw and what everybody saw of him outside of just the White Sox. As you just read, he was a top 10 prospect in baseball when the season started.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was too soon at the time. Now looking back, I wouldn't hated to see him in Birmingham maybe for a month, just because looking at the games played, and his playing in rookie ball, 36 games played, A ball 45, advanced A 54, double A 51, and now he's played 113 at triple A. It's fine to have him, face that upper level of minor league pitching, but I think maybe for confidence sake, if you went to Birmingham, dominated that first month, then got the call up, maybe people feel a little bit better about his overall performance. I think the biggest thing that is concerning, at least looking at AAA levels and the walk to strikeout ratio, he's very similar to Jordan Walker and Kobe Mayo, but the issue with Walker and Kobe Mayo has a 138 weighted runs created plus. Walker has a 94 weighted runs created plus. Montgomery sitting there with an 84. So you're right about that pop not being there, and we'll get into him versus velocity in just a second, because that has been his biggest struggle. We will take a break since it is a Sunnyside Thursday. We want to let you know about our friends over at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. They are here to elevate your summer. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. So stop into the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff, or select from quality lines like Cresco or Florical. And here for the summer, good news is Tea Time Disposable Vape is bringing classic lemonade flavor that is perfect for the golf course, because we all need help staying loose on the green. So head over to your Sunnyside location and use code HICHGO at sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day. Get 50% off, 50% off your first 3 online purchases using promo code HICHGO at sunnyside.shop. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
Summertime ain't gone away yet. I don't know if you've been outside today, but it's a hot one.
Mm-hmm.
And you know it's great on a hot summer day. That's a Leinenkugel Summer Shandy. It's one of the best beers they make.
Mm-hmm.
Not just Leinenkugel, anyone. It's one of the best beers that anyone makes. Delicious lemonade flavor coupled with that wheat beer flavor, and it's oh so good for any summertime activity you might have in mind, whether you're going down by the lakeside to have yourself a picnic, whether you're going down Rate Side to have yourself a tailgate. You're going to want a whole lot of Summer Shandy with you, because it's the perfect summertime beverage. But of course, summer doesn't last forever, even though some of us, me, might like it too. So there's more varieties of Leinenkugels that you can enjoy. Herb's enjoying the Lakeside Cherry. We got Luke watching at home. He's enjoying the Oktoberfest because he's ready for fall. Maybe you want a berry Vice. Maybe you want a honey Vice. Maybe you want to go up north and have yourself a Leinie's Original. Ooh, delicious. I could go for a Leinie's Original right now.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we have any.
On a ridge. Not in Wisconsin.
You might have to make the drive.
I might have to go.
We have a remote show.
Might have to go north.
Go do the show tomorrow from a canoe.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Call in from a canoe.
That's a great idea. But no matter which Leinenkugels variety you choose, you should flavor life's simple moments with Leinenkugels. It's the official craft beer of the Chicago White Sox. Go to Leinie.com/CHGO to find delivery options near you. That's LEINIE.com/CHGO. Or pick up Leinenkugels pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Leinenkugels, flavor the moment, celebrate responsibly. The Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls.
Yes. All right, I want to quiz you guys. Who's older, Bryan Ramos or Coulson Montgomery?
Bryan Ramos.
Vinny?
Yes, Bryan Ramos.
Nope. Coulson Montgomery, February 27th. Bryan Ramos, March 12th.
Wow.
Both of
2 weeks.
Yeah, but still, Bryan Ramos is younger. So I don't know. I don't know. It's not concerning that Ramos is here before Montgomery, But looking at their performances in AAA, thank God for AAA StatCast. This is against pitch velocity of 94 miles per hour. And Sarah, can you flash Coulson 1, 2? I think this might be beneficial. Yeah, you can flash this while I'm reading this. Coulson's season at AAA, 114 games, 212 average, 327 on base percentage, a slugging percentage of 376, 15 home runs. He hit his 15th today to dead center. It was off a 92 mile per hour sinker, so not against 94 miles per hour plus. 145 strikeouts to 60 Ks. The 12% walk rate isn't bad.
No.
That is better than Jordan Walker, the guy that I just compared to.
And his name is Walker. He should be walking at an extremely high rate.
A very good
if
point.
not exclusively.
Yes. And if you're looking at players that are 22 or younger with a walk rate higher than 10% in AAA, Chase Meredith, Midroth, I don't know. He's in the Boston organization. That's the word. 19.3 walk rate. Juan Brito of the Cleveland organization, 14.1%. Owen Cassie of the Cubs organization, 13%. Coulson at 12%. And then Kobe Mayo at 10.2%. So he is walking a decent amount for his age. Only 4 players above 10%. So, I don't hate the strikeout to walk ratio there. But, Sarah, if you want to go to Coulson, too, it's just not impacting velocity. 94 miles per hour, 84 plate appearances where he's seen that type of velocity, a 162 slash, a 321 on-base percentage, and a 250 slugging, only 1 homer, and a whiff rate of 36.8%. And to compare that to other minor leaguers like Ramos, Mayo, and Walker, the whiff rate for Coulson is pretty gross. Easily the highest. Ramos is second at 33.8%. Walker and Mayo are around 22%. Mayo at 22.2%. Walker at 21.1%. Coulson seems to be really, really struggling with that type of velocity, and I don't understand why. I don't know if it is dealing with the injuries that he has had and maybe just wasn't fully healthy coming into the year, and he's just starting a little bit slow, and we're not really seeing him catch up. I just have concerns that it seems to have not even plateaued, but really kind of fallen off a little bit. And I understand that you're going back to the Rick Hahn thing of progression's not linear, but it does seem more of a fall off rather than I don't know, just a halt or a blip.
Yeah. But aren't the leagues as such because they're younger people in the A and the AA, and probably some say the AA would be harder pitching sometimes, but the miles per hour probably is a thing that he's not used to. He came from high school where they're not throwing anything close to that. And then, the professional leagues, I'm sure they're up there. There's a couple guys up there, but in AAA, there's probably a constant stream of guys throwing 94 plus. And so it's probably has to be a thing that you have to acquire. And he's just a little slower to adjust to it. And so more games in AAA, I hope that his bat speed will adjust to it. And he's sitting on all these other pitches. But I love the 12% walk rate. That is awesome. And 19% for that other guy in Boston is just absolutely ridiculous.
But he's like a Luis Arraez guy.
Still ridiculous. 19% is ridiculous. But I like when I see that on-base percentage 100 points higher than the average, I think you got something there. You at least have the hitter is seeing pitches at a good rate. And this year just might be a bad year for him, and we can't catch up to those fastballs that are being thrown to him. But I think eventually, I'm not worried about the kid. I'm not worried at all. 22 is very young, very, very young for AAA.
Before you jump in, Vin, I do want to read his AA numbers because it is concerning as well. I think part of it is the velocity, yes, and obviously those guys in AA can't find the zone as much. And I think that's why you see the walk rate. And you look at his numbers, 218, 350, and 391, but it's still a slugging percentage under 400 overall in Birmingham. And when he was last in Birmingham in 2023, 244, 400 on base, and a 428 slugging. So it is above 400, but I just wonder if it's just, be extremely selective and take your walks when you can. And I don't know if he especially because I don't have the pitch tracking data, I don't know how many of those pitches in Birmingham were true fastballs. Mm-hmm. Was he doing damage to fastballs in Birmingham? And then the 25 to 36 walk to strikeout ratio, it's just were guys even able to hit the zone, period. So, looking at his AA and AAA numbers, it does seem like he doesn't have that same slug that we originally thought, or maybe prospects originally thought, because we're not prospects, scouters. I guess that's
scouts.
There it is.
Yeah.
I guess we're not scouters. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm really questioning the type of player that he is. I don't know if he's athletic as we thought he was.
Are you concerned that he might he might not be anything? Like he might be a total
It'd be
bust.
surprising if he didn't make it to the majors at all, for sure. But like, if he comes up as a weak hitting third baseman, I'm not surprised. If he's our version of Matt Duffy, I guess I'm not surprised. Or maybe Paul DeJong. Sarah, can you flash the Paul DeJong thing? This is going to make you
Paul
sick.
DeJong, White Sox home run leader?
White Sox legend. Still? This is Paul DeJong's numbers. Actually, Sarah, can you flash the Coulson 2 or 3? So this is comparing Coulson and Paul DeJong. Coulson versus 94 miles per hour plus. Exit velocity 87.7 miles per hour. Launch angle 22 degrees. Distance 169 feet. Whiff rate of 36.9%. Yep. Can you flash Paul DeJong? Paul DeJong this year with the White Sox, 88.8 miles per hour, launch angle of 19 degrees, distance of 173, a whiff rate of 40.2.
And so he leads the team in home runs.
Right. So if he's able to connect, hey, maybe he'll go far. But it did seem like Paul DeJong sold out for power exclusively. And I don't even know if Coulson has that ability. If Coulson can even go up there and say, I'm going to sell out for power. I don't know how powerful he is. I do have concerns about Coulson's strength and athleticism, and if they were up to snuff originally, because he was the 18th pick in the draft?
I think it might have been earlier
22nd or something like that. I just look at the draft that we just saw.
22nd.
All those guys that were prep players, it seemed like Connor Griffin, it was Bryce Rainier. It was going to be top 10 for those guys because they played that premium position and they had that great athleticism. And when Coulson was taken, we were all kind of surprised, and he was kind of out of nowhere. It seemed like the Sox had more info on people than other Major League Baseballers, but now it kind of feels like it makes sense now that he's reaching AA and AAA, because maybe he wasn't that intriguing of a prospect in the first place. And they thought maybe they took him in the first round because they could have seen something that someone else didn't. And at this point, I don't know if that's coming to fruition.
It hurts because 5 picks after Coulson Montgomery was picked, National League Rookie of the Year candidate Jackson Merrill was picked as a shortstop.
Fun.
It hurts. It hurts badly.
It doesn't hurt because I'm numb to it all, Herb. Anyways, those are the Coulson Montgomery fun stats of the year. Vinny, you recently put out a White Sox newsletter.
It's true.
Monday that people can go read. There are some quotes from Paul Janisch and Brian Bannister in that. I want to start with Noah Schultz, the other top prospect for the Chicago White Sox.
The top prospect for the Chicago White Sox. The top
prospect for the Chicago White Sox, the first-round pick in 2022. Also seemed like a guy that the White Sox had more info on, and baseball was like, oh, where did this guy come from? Seeming like it's paying off well. He's currently at 80.2 innings pitched in 2024. I still thought it was 85, so my bad on that. 80.2 innings pitched. Where do we see him landing innings-wise at the end of the year? Is it just going to be
88.2 innings pitched?
There it is. All right. So, is that a success for the Sox and
Absolutely.
Schultz?
Yes, of course it is. Because here's the thing. They knew how they were going to treat him this year. They were going to throw him no more than 4 innings at a time. They were going to throw him once a week. And guess what? He made it all the way to the end of the year healthy, assuming 2 weeks left in the minor league season and 2 more starts. Likely that'll be it for Noah Schultz. Made it there healthy in his first full healthy year as a pro, and those numbers are ridiculous. He has been fantastic. Now the big question is, it's in small doses, right? He has not pitched into the 5th inning this year. He has not really done more. If you were to drop him in the major leagues tomorrow, he has not done more than a mop-up man or a long reliever, right, in a blowout. But he is young. He is only at AA, and we are going to find out next year what happens when they allow him to go more than 4 innings. What happens when they allow him to pitch more frequently than once a week. He didn't have the same college resume as a guy like Hagen Smith. I believe they're the same age as a guy like Hagen Smith, who they took with the number 5 pick in this year's draft. That guy looks ready to go because he's been pitching lights out against college baseball players for years now. Noah Schultz didn't have that experience. They brought him out of Oswego, and they're like, okay, we're going to have to really slow play a guy who has also had physical issues. So now, though, the results have been fantastic. Now it's about getting more innings and getting him to be able to do the sorts of things that whoever his manager is going to want him to do every time he goes out there. Now, I think that's a pretty big deal. I think that there might be more development needed than a lot of folks might think, saying, oh, that guy's one of the top-ranked prospects in baseball. He's already at AA. He's going to be here tomorrow. I think that you're probably going to need a little bit of time to be able to work on a starting pitcher's routine as a Major League Baseball player. I don't know that opinion is shared, though, because one of the things that Brian Bannister said in the story that I wrote the other day is me asking him that question and basically saying, look around baseball right now. What are guys doing? They're going 5 innings and they're getting taken out for bullpen pitchers. And that's only one more inning that Noah Schultz is going to have to throw. If I'm a manager, if I'm a general manager, I want to be able to have confidence that my pitcher is going to be able to go out there and throw 6 or 7 innings. I don't want to bring a guy up to the major leagues if he can only throw 5 innings at a time. That seems to put yourself and him at a pretty big disadvantage. But that's my opinion. The White Sox might see something different. What they are looking for absolutely is that the pitching is good, that the arsenal is good, that the ability to get players out is good. I know they want him to improve his ability to get batters to swing and miss. But to me, it would seem like a pretty big jump between 4 innings every 7 days to the ability at least to go 6 or 7 every 5. And I don't know how it's going to play out. But given what he has done, and granted, it's been very impressive. When he is on the mound, he is killing it. But given what he's done, I think it would be a bit of a stretch to say that he would be pitching in Major League Baseball by the end of next season.
Yeah, it'd be really weird. It seems like the White Sox had a plan for him, and they're executing that plan perfectly, and they're stair-stepping him. There's this one level, here's the next level, and then next year I expect AAA. AAA, and very little maybe at the end, some major leagues, because he'll maybe end at 90 innings this year. I don't think that's major league ready. As Vinny said, he's not seen the 5th inning. That's going to be trouble. And I think the next stair step is be unhinged next year. We're just going to let you go, not only on Saturdays. We're pitching you every 5th day so you get used to the motion, get used to what you do on your off days, et cetera, et cetera. And he's 21 years old, so I have no problem with how the White Sox are doing and having Noah Schultz come along. And also, the most impressive thing, I know he's got 80 innings and 100-plus strikeouts, but he's only walked some like 20 dudes as a 21-year-old in AA.
He's been fantastic.
Like, that is very impressive as a guy who's like 6'9". He's repeating his motion. He's doing this where the balls we could see the other day with Nick Nastrini, a guy who's 6'6" himself, couldn't find the strike zone. Like, it just lost it. And for his whole major league career, for the most part, has been very wild. And it's hard to adjust. Noah Schultz is throwing just as hard, and he's finding the strike zone versus these AA players. So that's very impressive, and I like the way the White Sox are bringing him along, not rushing him, not because the White Sox are struggling and maybe need him next year. Like, the need will have to wait. We need to develop correctly with Noah Schultz, and I love the way that they're doing individual assessments on each player and not just treating every guy like, you're under our umbrella, you're doing the same thing as everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I appreciate that as well. This has been interesting to see Noah's rollout. Hopefully it's every 5 days next year. A lot of him doesn't make sense, though, because they want him to get his swinging strike percent up. It's only been 11% in AA. His called strike plus whiff percent is 28%, which is below major league average, and he's doing this at AA. But then you look at the strikeout to walk ratio, and you look at the actual slash line of these hitters, 179 average, 271 on base, and a 226 slugging. So I don't understand, like, he's only given up 5 extra base hits. I don't understand, like, why it all hasn't, like, clicked for him in a way.
Has it not?
Well, it feels like it could click more.
More strike.
Right.
Like so that's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
a compliment.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But so, like, I wonder if it is more innings that helps him make it click. If it is just getting stronger that helps him make it click, does he need to throw it like his fastball higher up in the zone, and is he being too close to the zone with his slider? Is the reason why he is not getting as much swing and miss because he wants to actually make it to 4 innings, because he's had some innings where he's been taken out at 3 1/3 or 3 2/3 because he's gotten up to 60 pitches. Like, I do wonder, without restrictions, what he looks like, because I do feel like even though it's to protect him and to get him to a certain number of innings, I do wonder if they're hurting his progression or growth a little bit. Not it's not awful at the end of the day. He's looking like a really dominant pitcher that's likely going to make his major league debut in the mid of 2025, maybe even September of 2025. But like, I do wonder what he will look like without restrictions, and if those restrictions will be lifted in 2025.
And what you're saying brings up a conundrum for the White Sox. He's having success in Double-A, but also there's still meat on that bone that could be exposed. He could actually be better than he is currently. Do you mess with that? Do you mess with the success he's having currently just so you can maybe refine something and it possibly working out, but also you might derail that progress that he's having right now? That's what Brian Bannister and all those guys get paid for, to say, okay, the numbers look good, the results are awesome, but is this for everything? Is this like gonna progress to the major leagues? Are we concerned that he's only got 11% strike percentage or swing and strike percentage on his pitches, or he's getting outs? And that's the name of the game. So we should keep pushing him towards this way. That's the delicate balance the White Sox need to have for this player. For myself, I'm more, as I always say, process over results. He's doing well. And if there's still more meat on the bone, that's what next year's for. Develop him more as far as swinging strikes. And if the ERA goes up and the hard hits go up, cool, because I think in the long run, that'll be better for his career. But the White Sox will have to go through that and see if they're going to try to tweak some things that he is doing right now, and hopefully it's for the better and it doesn't actually, blow up in their face.
I think he has the second lowest walk rate of a pitcher with. I'm trying to. His 11th best K- walk rate as a 21-year-old or younger in the Southern League ever since 2006. Reed Detmers leads that list in 2021 with 35.1%. He's around Freddie Peralta, Taj Bradley, even Johnny Cueto back in 2007.
If he turned out to be any of those pitchers, I'll be satisfied.
Yuri Perez? Let's go.
I don't know who that guy is.
Yuri Perez is
the Miami Marlins.
He's even better than Michael Kopech back in 2017 when he was the top prospect in Major League Baseball, or top pitching prospect in Major League Baseball. Kopech in the Southern League, 19.5 K to walk percentage. Again, Schultz sitting at 21.5%. So I am just excited to see like what his true potential is, because if he's able to really unleash it and go after hitters maybe the way he wants, maybe we do start seeing more swing and misses and more swing and strikes, and hopefully that is the case. All right, another player I want to talk to before we wrap up, Peyton Paulette. We talked about Ramos and Vargas and their lack of flexibility, or so far their lack of flexibility, and if that will be a hindrance to the Sox and those players themselves to getting playing time. I love, and it's obviously a different situation, it's pitchers versus position players. I love seeing Brian Bannister, Peyton Paulette, and the White Sox say, this is not going right. He's not a good starter. Let's try to change it up. Let's see how he looks in the bullpen. And they moved him to the bullpen in Winston-Salem. He's gotten called up to Birmingham. He's made 5 appearances in Birmingham, has been fantastic. 33 2/3 innings pitched for Peyton Paulette since July 5th as a reliever. A .53 ERA.
That's good.
Slash line of hitters 123, 180, 158, and strikeouts 47 to 6. 47 strikeouts to 6 walks as a bullpen player.
That works.
So this is a guy that was a former second rounder that really didn't show it as a starter, but it seems like he's showing something, which is great. I think they did this with our guy Jared Kelly as well. They went from him being a starter to a bullpen pitcher. Didn't have the same success, but I'm glad that they're not afraid to try something because they're just trying to get major league players. They don't have to be a major league starter or a major league center fielder or whatever. They're just getting guys that can contribute. And it does seem like Paulette, who has had potential or is seen as a guy that has potential before, finally showing it.
That's good to see. And it has to have some buy-in by the players. So kudos to Peyton Paulette for saying, you know, I'm not a starter and I'm going to give this a good old-fashioned try, and he's doing very well. We saw earlier this year Michael Kopech admit to, I think, you guys after that immaculate innings, like, started listening to what they're saying. That's what it has to take. Like Michael Kopech, they were talking to Michael Kopech about mixing a couple of off-speed, but it has to take the player to say, okay, it's not going well, and I'm struggling. I'm going to finally listen to the coaching, and that's what Peyton Paulette did, and that's good to see that he's having great success. I haven't even seen that movie yet.
I've never seen that movie either.
It's very funny.
There you go. You haven't even seen it, and you're not even the guy quoting it.
Yeah, when I get married, I'm gonna say my wife all the time.
Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. And as Emma's mentioning, it's a Sunnyside Summer Thursday, so head over to sunnyside.shop and use code HICHGO if you haven't yet. All right, let's end with a quiz.
Okay, all right.
Let's end with some fun. Cespedes Family Barbecue, our guys, talked about Justin Verlander's approach to 300 wins coming up, and they tried to name all the players with 300 wins. Matthew Trueblood responded and said he could do even better. He said there's only 11 active hurlers that have made 300 starts in the big league. So only 11 active hurlers have made 300 starts in the big league. From 1996 to 2009, 28 pitchers made at least 300 starts. Since the start of 2010, that number is just 19. 11 are currently active. So can you two name the 11 active players with 300 starts?
Justin Verlander.
Correct.
DeGrom.
Correct. No.
DeGrom?
He's
hurt all the time.
DeGrom is not.
Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn is one of them.
Scherzer
is two.
Rich Hill.
Rich Hill is not.
Ooh.
What? He is active.
He is active.
He has 90 wins. That was a guy that I thought would at least have 100 wins. He doesn't even have 100 wins.
He's played for a lot of bad teams.
1,409 innings pitched for Rich Hill. He has made 248 games. No, he's started 248 games.
Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, so that's under.
Correct.
We're doing 300. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw is third.
Is Zach Greinke still active?
No.
I guess not.
No. Is he on that list?
He's not on the list,
well,
but we could make it 12 if you want to put. Yeah, I don't think he's officially retired. I think he's in the Rich Hill. The Red Sox can sign him at any point.
As Luke says, Cueto.
Johnny Cueto, thank you. Luke can't be helping you there. Yeah, Cueto is correct. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left.
Kyle Gibson.
Kyle Gibson is one of them.
Oh, wow, Kyle Gibson.
That's
holy smokes.
Very weird.
Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray is not on there.
Oh.
Sonny Gray has the wins, but he does not have the starts. He has over 100 wins.
How about Michael Wacha?
No, Waka's not one of them. Sonny Gray has started 296 games, so he's close.
So close.
Oh, I missed it by 4 starts.
Chris Sale is probably under.
Sale's the wins, but not the starts.
Yeah.
Quintana,
329. So you have Verlander, Scherzer, Kershaw, Cueto, Lynn, Quintana, Kyle Gibson.
How'd you get Kyle Gibson?
I was just thinking, you said Lynn. I was like, that's another old pitcher.
4 left.
Garrett Cole.
Nestor is not one of them. Garrett Cole is 313.
What's that guy? Corbin.
Patrick Corbin is one of them. He's tied with Kyle Gibson. So you're missing 2.
I'm tapped
Both
out.
the National League.
I got nothing for you.
One's a former Pirate and Brave
Charlie
and Astro.
Morton.
Yeah, there's Charlie Morton. One of them is literally maybe the Kelly Johnson of the NL Central of pitching. He's pitched for the
Wade Miley.
Wade Miley.
Boom.
There you go. Wade
Good night,
Miley
everybody.
with the Reds, Cubs, and Brewers. We got to let you know about our friends over at the Die Hard program. Thank you to everyone who is a Die Hard. We appreciate you. You can sign up to be a Die Hard today. Head over to allchgo.com/Die diehard to check out the program. You get access to Vinny's White Sox weekly newsletter that comes out on Monday. Adam Hogue has a paywalled article. Will Gottlieb has some paywalled articles up there as well. You get access to those. That's exclusive. You get 20% off events and merch as well. When you sign up, you get a shirt of your choice when you become a member, and you get access to our members-only Discord where you get to chat with Luke, Alejandro, and etc. That are in the chat. And you get to chat with us too, because we're hanging out there in there as well. If you haven't heard of CHGO before, maybe you're checking us out on the Roku channel. We have podcasts and live shows each and every day, especially on Sunday. We'll have pregame and postgame coverage for the start of the Bears season. We do also have a Bears tailgate on Sunday, so if you are looking for some fun before a Bears game, head over to allchgo.com/events to check out all the tailgates that we have coming up for this upcoming season.
There are many.
This historic season. But eight tailgates?
Yeah. And you can buy a season pass, too.
There you go. So buy a season pass and come hang out with us at Soldier Field before the Bears. Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We appreciate everyone for hanging out with us, I guess, except for Gavin Sheets. Thank you to Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer.
Poor guy.
I know.
Just watching his day off in Boston. He's like, son of a bitch. Had a good game yesterday, and Sean's crapping on me.
Did he?
Probably.
I mean, the whole team did.
I guess.
He had a hit at least.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. That is Herb Lawrence, our CHGO White Sox community leader. And I'm Sean Anderson. We will talk to you tomorrow at 1 p.m., 1:30?
1 p.m.
1 p.m. for an off-day show to preview the upcoming Red Sox series. We'll see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.